Hey guys! So today we are back and we are doing yet another science experiment. Today we are learning all about a special topic. However, before we begin with that, I want you to think about this question. Imagine that you have your socks on. Now, what would be easier to do? Rub your socks on a carpet? Or would it be easier to rub your feet on a wooden floor? That's right, it would be easier to rub your feet on a wooden floor because it's more slippery. Now, the reason for that is because of a very special word called friction. Friction is basically a force that slows things down. So when you're on a carpet, it has more friction, so you can't move your feet that fast. But when you are on, say, a wooden floor, there is less friction, so you can move your socks more. It's more slippery. So today we are going to be doing an experiment where we are testing out different amounts of friction. Our experiment today will be I am going to race a car down 3 different ramps. One ramp is going to have carpet. Another ramp is going to be covered in just plain wood. And the third ramp will be a ramp covered in blankets. So over the course of this video, we're going to find out which type of ramp makes a car travel the farthest. So before we begin our experiment, let's make a prediction. Which ramp do you think will make the car travel the farthest and why? Do you think it will be the blanket ramp? Do you think it will be the carpet ramp? Or do you think it will be the wooden ramp? Take a second to think about that before we begin. All right, let's see what happens. Round 1 is going to be our blanket ramp.
This one went 70 inches.
So for round 1, when our car went down the blanket ramp, it went 70 inches. For round 2, we are going to test the carpet ramp.
All right, this one went 103 inches.
So for round 2, when our car traveled down the carpet ramp, it went a total of 103 inches. For round 3, we are going to test our wooden ramp.
Yep. All right, our car went 128 inches.
For round 3, when our car traveled down the wooden ramp, it went a total of 128 inches. So let's talk about our results a little bit. Our car on the blanket ramp went 70 inches. Our car on the carpet ramp went 103 inches. And our car on the wooden ramp went 128 inches. So it seems that our car on the wooden ramp traveled the farthest. And our car on the blanket ramp went the shortest distance. And that's because we can see our car on the wooden ramp went 128 inches, which is the biggest number. And our car on the blanket ramp went 70 inches, which is our smallest number. So let's talk about the results. Why do you think the car went the farthest down the wooden ramp? Take a second and think about that question. So our car went the farthest down the wooden ramp because the wooden ramp had the least amount of friction. That means with less friction, the car could go faster and travel farther. So the wooden ramp was more slippery, so the car was able to go farther and faster. So our next question is, why did the car go the shortest distance down the blanket ramp? Take a second to pause the video and think about an answer to that question. So the car went the shortest distance down the blanket ramp because the blanket ramp had the most amount of friction. This slowed the car down, and so the car went a shorter distance. With the blanket ramp, it was less slippery. So there's more friction, the car goes slower, and it goes a shorter distance. So let's do a quick review now. Let's think about the question number 1. What is friction? That's right. Friction is a force that slows things down. And number 2, friction can affect the speed of things. How do we know this? That's right. We saw the car go different speeds and distances down different ramps. Some ramps had more friction than others. You did an awesome job today, and I hope you learned a lot about friction through our race car experiment.